The African Solidarity Network has called for a dialogue between both South Africans and foreign nationals before reintegrating displaced foreign nationals back into communities that they fled from. This after hundreds of Malawian nationals fled their homes in the Burnwood Informal settlement in the Durban suburb of Sydenham due to attacks and threats last week. In a joint statement, the eThekwini Municipality and the Malawian High Commission agreed that the incident was not linked to xenophobia but rather criminally motivated. We're now joined on the line by Dr. Emeka Ugwu, who is the Welfare Secretary of the All Nigerian Nationals in Diaspora South Africa. Thanks very much for joining us on the line, Dr. Ugwu. So a lot of conversations have been taking place following the attacks in recent days that have been described by many as xenophobic attacks. Your thoughts on what you've been seeing and hearing, especially now that we've just heard that some people might be saying that not all of them were xenophobic?
Thank you, Peter, for having me, and good afternoon to your listeners. I think one of the major steps in solving any problem anywhere in the world is to properly identify the problems and to properly call it the name that it is. You know, incessant attacks on foreigners in South Africa, be it criminality or whatever other definition, I don't know what else to call it other than xenophobia. And not only that, to be more specific, these attacks are usually on foreigners of African origin. So that is essentially Afrophobic. You know, that's the way I feel about it.
All right. So let's start perhaps with the Nigerian nationals. Have they been feeling any sense of xenophobic tensions in recent weeks or recent times?
Absolutely, yes. Anytime these attacks crops up, we have this immeasurable feeling of insecurity. We feel we live every day in South Africa with trepidation. There is a horrendous feeling of palpable vulnerability. Any person could be a victim of a xenophobic attack anywhere, irrespective of your profession or where you live or where you stay in South Africa. And that's not a nice feeling.
There are a number of Nigerian professionals, doctors among them, that are working in public hospitals. Have they been feeling any kinds of tension themselves? How has this affected them?
Absolutely, yes. I'm the president of Nigerian Doctors Forum in South Africa, and we have our members that are working at various locations in South Africa, in rural areas, some are in the city. So for the fact that you drive on the street, you drive in the suburbs, you drive in the rural areas and various locations in South Africa to go to work, as I said earlier on, anywhere, anytime, any person could be a victim. And we have that feeling of insecurity, and it's quite bad.
Are you feeling safe inside the hospitals at all?
Well, safety is a relative thing, and it's a relative term, because inside the hospital, we are one as a doctor. We believe that there's some reasonable level of security, but we don't live in the hospitals, all of us. We live in the community, and we go outside to socialize and mingle in the community, and we also drive along the street to go to work, and there's no way you wouldn't come out. You go from the hospital to your home. We are part and parcel of the society. We go out to buy things, we take our kids to school and all that. So it's not only about living staying inside the hospital and working in the hospital. We are part and parcel of the community, so we are very worried.
What do you think needs to be done to try and solve this difficult situation?
Well, the way I look at it is that xenophobia or Afrophobia, it is a hydra-headed problem, and it's multi-layered. And I think the solution should be multifaceted equally. We should look at it from all angles, from the leaders of the community and the leaders of various governments and other organizations. I think first and foremost, we should define the problem the way it is, as I said earlier on. The second thing is that I think we should, as leaders or as even members of the community, adopt a kind of a proactive measure, not to have a knee-jerk approach. We should all refrain from making inflammatory statements that should fan at any time the embers of xenophobia. Then I think we should equally go into rigorous education of both foreigners and nationals, both in South Africa and elsewhere in Africa. You know, people should understand that I believe that we can cohabit, we can coexist along each other and amongst each other peacefully without problems. I mean, that ongoing education, if we can adopt that, that will help. From the government side, I think it is very imperative that they should uphold the rule of law. They should try to ensure that laws are enforced at every corner of the country, whether it is immigration or criminal laws. The law enforcement agencies should come to play and ensure that laws are enforced. For foreigners who are illegal, the immigration agent should do the needful. For those who commit a crime, the immigration agent should do the needful. For the citizens who take laws into their hands and burn down houses and stores and loot goods belonging to foreigners, they should equally be brought to book. You know, so as I said, it should be a multifaceted approach, and I think if everyone works together, I think we can achieve a reasonable level of solution.
All right. Well, let's certainly hope those important conversations happen. Thanks very much indeed, Dr. Ugwu, for joining us on the line. Dr. Emeka Ugwu is the Welfare Secretary for the All Nigerian Nationals in Diaspora in South Africa. Palesa.